Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think everyone would answer that differently in the locker room. For me, there's so many unknowns that, and I know these are a bunch of cliche answers you probably have already heard, but it's the truth, you know what I mean? You try not to have the court of public opinion affect yourself, but it's hard not to, you know what I mean? And it's just one of those things that in the end, it was a hard decision for the organization to make. I think they made the one that made the most sense. As a guy in the locker room, it's tough. Some guys have kids, and it makes you think of both situations. I think it was one of those great tests as a group to see where we could go from mentally. It was right before a game. I thought the guys were able to compartmentalize it, who were played effectively, really put some good stuff out there. It definitely caused some conversations in the locker room, I think healthy ones between guys. And, it's just one of those things that it's incredibly unfortunate for both parties. And I just hope at the end that both parties find some peace in this and it sorts itself out.
You mentioned how some guys have kids. Mm-hmm. You yourself, you do.
Yeah.
For you personally, just, how challenging has this whole situation been to be around, I guess?
Yeah, it's a good question. You definitely has that shock at first. You have that guttural reaction, and then you kind of take a step back, kind of think of the situation itself. I don't think there's a right answer for guys to, it's conflicting. In the end, I do think they made the right decision, and as unfortunate as it might be for Matt, he's got other stuff to deal with, and this team, time marches on, and that's kind of what we're doing right now.
Mitch, how important is it knowing that this team's gone through stretches of adversity, and you can lean on the fact that you've come out for the better on the other side?
Yeah, that's a good point. Adversity finds itself in a locker room throughout the season. We've talked about this a little bit off air. It also finds itself, all phases and all ways, and it's always unfortunate, and especially this situation. It's such a touchy subject, and you have so many thoughts. There's no right answer, and I think you ask 53 opinions, or more than that in this locker room, someone's gonna give you a different opinion. It's just, and that's why you sympathize for people who have to answer, Coach goes up there right after this, and he doesn't have the right answer because it just, for some people, they don't think he has the right answer, but that's the answer he's got, and you got to sympathize for that. And I think they've handled it admirably because I don't envy those situations, and that's why I'm the player, and they're the guys who have to make those decisions. So a lot of kudos for them making the decision that they thought was right, and I think it was the right one, and you go from there.
What was Sean's message throughout this whole thing to you guys?
First of all, it was just, I think he was kind of, I don't think he slept very much, Coach. He's going through the same thoughts we all are in regards to being a family man. He wants to win football games, but there's something higher. There's a higher power to that, which is just, humanity. How he handles himself and how he wants his team to handle himself and how he wants everyone to do stuff. And, it's just, it really is such a trying time. And I wish there was when the fire alarm's pulled at school, there's a code you follow. Everyone goes here to here and here. And they're kind of writing the book on it right now. And it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I think they handled it as well as they could.
What have you learned about Sean in these circumstances?
I think he puts the fact that he's a football coach. He wants what's best for the team, but he also wants to make decisions that I think he'd want for his kids. And he puts himself as a father first, and kind of goes from there. And it's like I said, it's not something I envy because it's such a decision. Not only do you not have all the facts because you're not the one doing the investigation, right? But you're putting both parties have tremendous stakes. Their lives are in hands. So you have to make a decision that's best for the team, which is what his job is, and I think also for the city of Buffalo, the organization, all that stuff. So, like I've said 1,000 times, I don't envy that decision, but I think he made a decision promptly, both of them, in a way that we can kind of take the next step forward as a team to get ready for the season.
Thanks for him being off the roster. How important is it to the team to put this in the past and focus on these two games?
Yeah, absolutely. I think now at this point we have to play ball. We know it's coming up. We don't want to completely compartmentalize it because I think there's a lot of lessons learned here. But we do have a game coming up in 12 or something, less than that, 10 days. So we got to take that step as a team to focus on that and learn the lessons we can and go from there.